Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people, right? You want people to care. You want to strike emotions, and I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Boy, ale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah, I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success? Hey everyone, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And John.
JD.
All right, boys and girls. No crazy movies this week, so we can...
No crazy movies?
No Blade Trinities or marathon movies this week. Next week, maybe. So, but on that note, how's everyone doing? How are you doing, John?
Well, I told you, and you don't want to know, so...
You look tired.
Yes.
As you show us your coffee.
Tea, damn it.
Oh, that's right. Tea. You're a tea drinker. You're not a coffee drinker.
Coffee. Wow.
You think you're English.
No, not English. But, okay. I mean, the anime spring season is underway. I found a lot of good shows to watch. And I just got all the light novels for Rising of the Shield Hero, or at least I got the first 9 of them. So I'm going to go through because the anime is getting its second season right now. And I've heard that there are some differences. So I figured I'm going to read the light novel. And then, because it's actually supposedly even better than the anime. So yeah, beyond that, life.
Life is life. How about you, JD? Are you feeling any better?
I'm just busy. I literally just walked out of the practice room with my son. We had a college coach come in our practice room today, so we loaded it up, and Andy wanted to go, so I'm like, okay, you can come in, and it's just super stressful. I just walked out of the room, but other than that, we launched the Kickstarter. Let's see, we're recording this on Monday night. Show comes out Wednesday, so by the time anybody hears this, we'll have launched about 24 hours ago, but as of right now, I'm still ready to launch. So we hit it. The Wolfstone Saga Kickstarter goes live Tuesday morning, and I got this really cool thing. I got some cool stuff planned for this Kickstarter. If you back it in the first 45 or 48 hours, you're going to get access to 45 free novels. And after that 48 hours. So Thursday morning, you'll get an email from me with 45 free books. Not mine. My book you got to pay for. But as long as you back it, you're going to get all these freebies that are really cool. And I've read some of them, and they're really good books.
I was about to say, I don't think you've written 45 books.
No, I wish, man. I'm trying. No, I got a bunch of people willing to, what's really cool about Kickstarter is you get a bunch of people that are willing to contribute, and everyone gets how the ecosystem goes, and you give and you share, and that's kind of how it is. So I got a bunch of authors that are willing to supply their stuff for free to help this Kickstarter go. And then that's going to be the first little bonus perk. So the first 48 hours you get a bunch of free books.
What if you back it in the first 48 minutes?
I'll come to Pennsylvania and make out with you. show my gratitude.
I don't think that's a perk.
Oh, you don't. That's what you think. I've been told differently.
Hopefully, only by your wife.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's aside from the point. Get on this quick, and I got some cool stuff. I had a theme song written for this. My buddy George O'Connor's Charlie's Place creator, or Charlie's Spot creator, wrote a bitchin' metal song for a theme song for this campaign, which is pretty awesome. A comic artist, Kurt Belcher, is doing a really sweet, digital wallpaper for this. I got a lot of cool stuff that's coming along down the pike with this campaign, aside from these the best 3 books I've ever written. So I'm real excited. 17 days is the campaign length, and it's gonna be intense.
Cool.
Excellent.
most.
How are you, Dave?
I'm all right. I can't complain. Uneventful Easter, which is good. You know, had way too much to eat.
Amen, brother.
How many chocolate bunnies have you slayed?
Well, here's the thing I love too. My girlfriend, who is back on her diet and being extremely strict, bought me coconut eggs and Cadbury cream eggs, which are my favorites at Easter time. And I ate them all yesterday.
Why does it sound like she's, helping you help her feel good?
Exactly. That's what I said. I said, you're trying to sabotage me so you feel better about yourself. He's like, no. Oh, wait. And that's the other thing. Saturday morning, we got up and went for a walk by the Schuylkill and...
The what?
Schuylkill River. Sorry. It's a local reference for those who don't live in Philadelphia. And at one point, we stopped and rested, sat at a picnic table for a little bit. And she's like sitting there and she's like rubbing my hair. And then she starts going, And I'm like, what? She plucks out a hair and goes, look. And it was gray. And then she starts counting all the ones I'm like, wait, stop. Yes.
Dude,
she thought it was
I'm a
funny.
decade younger than you, and I got tons of grays. I'm getting Reed Richards temples here.
Yeah, well, I wasn't ready for it. Well, see, the thing is, like, you and John both have the same thing where you have dark hair. She's got dark hair, too. So you see it a lot easier. Where with my hair, it's hard to see it. But then she started seeing it. Now it's like she thinks it's funny because it bothers me. So.
Nice.
Sold it. The key is you can't sell it. You got to be like, oh, it's no big deal. Even if it is a gigantic big deal. And then you go and buy yourself the Just for Men. But you sell it as like, it's not a big thing. I kind of like it because my beard's all gray. And it actually looked my age for once in my life. So I dig it.
Maybe. So, but other than that, we didn't talk about it last week, but I'm all caught up on on Moon Knight.
Yeah, same diff. They'll be fighting soon, hopefully.
Are you guys all caught up?
Mm-hmm.
You know the answer to that question.
Do I?
Yeah, you do.
So what? Okay, so you weren't here when we talked about it at the premiere, JD. You were off that
You are
week.
correct. You are correct.
So what do you think of it so far?
Oh, I'm serious. I haven't watched it. I'm behind. I'm trying to get this Kickstarter going.
Are you kidding me?
All my free time goes into that.
Oh.
I haven't watched. I saw Sonic at the theater because my little boy wanted to. And that's the only bit of pop culture I've imbibed. I have to force myself to do a little bit of reading every day. No, I'm behind on everything, man.
Man, I thought you were joking around. Okay.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, but he's look how much he's done. It's like
no, not acceptable.
Oh, I'm sorry. And by next week, that's a lie. I won't. I mean, next week gets serious. So I'm sorry. I'm a turd. Bad co-host.
Oh man, I guess we can't talk about it, John.
Yes, we can.
You guys can talk about it. You guys can talk about it.
So
I'm going to forget what you talk about the second the show ends anyway.
So they've done the whole Mark Spector and Stephen, what's his last name? Stephen Grant having he has a split personality within Moon Knight. And what was really cool is in the first two episodes, Stephen Grant is in control of the body for most of it. And they flipped it in the third episode. So I thought that was really cool. What did you think, John?
I think the third personality coming out is going to be interesting.
Well, they haven't even said who that is yet. Yeah,
right. They haven't, but they're both, he wakes up, there's a guy on the end of the knife, and he's like, "Why did you do that?" And the other guy's like, "I didn't do that." It's like, uh-oh. So
yes,
it's good. Now everything went to crap. Now let's see how he does without the armor.
Right. Yes. So, but yeah, I mean, Oscar Isaac I think is killing this.
Is it canon for Moon Knight to have a healing factor on par with Wolverine?
Not that I'm aware of.
I mean, it seems appropriate that if it is on par with that it took a god's armor to give that to him. That seems okay.
Right.
It's just that I didn't expect that. But it's,
because he actually did get hurt and then was fine by the end of the episode. So yeah, that is interesting. I just thought it was protecting him. I didn't even think of it that way until you just pointed it out.
Yeah.
To be honest. Very interesting. But I mean, we said at the beginning before the show started, it's all going to fall on his performance. And I think he's killing it every week. And it's only 6 episodes. So
Plus, they've already given it so that like Mark has the armor in one way. What's his name? Steven has the armor as was it
Mr. Knight.
Yeah, Spiffy Knight. And I wonder what the other one looks like. That I'm assuming that will be meaner because whoever that was just stabbing. He didn't want any information or anything. He was just killing the guys. So his might look even. He might be a little bit worse.
A little bit.
So
yeah. So don't want to give too much away, even though I think we gave too much away already. For poor JD.
It's okay.
I'm barely paying attention. I'm multitasking. I'm ordering us dinner while I host the show and then imbibe in the conversation. So I just kind of spaced out on the Moon Knight stuff. But I know it's split personality thing. I'm there.
I hope you know that by now.
Yeah, I'm aware of that one.
Yeah. So if you haven't watched it yet, other than JD, make sure you're checking it out because it's really good. It might be. I honestly think it's on par with WandaVision.
It is really good.
That's a bold statement. That's a bold statement, sir.
Yes. Well, the thing that was appealing about WandaVision is like the slow reveal and not really knowing what's going on from week to week. And they are definitely recreating that in this show. So
interesting.
Didn't Marvel just cancel a second season or something?
Did they?
It wasn't because we knew that WandaVision was like a self-contained story for the situation. There was something else though. What are the other shows? There's Loki,
which then from my understanding they're already working on season 2. And
yeah, that one's definitely getting season 2.
Captain America, Falcon Winter Soldier, but
that might be the one that isn't getting one.
That's continuing into Captain America 4 and then Hawkeye. But I don't know. Kate Bishop I thought was going to be in another movie, so
she definitely will. I thought it was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think.
Yeah, there's no Falcon Winter Soldier season 2 because they're going like they said they're going right into the movie.
Yeah, but I don't know. There was something about them either canceling or saying they weren't going to do it when everybody thought they would. But I guess
it might have been that people might have assumed there was going to be a season 2, and it was just like no, Yeah. The only thing they told us we were getting a season 2 of was Loki.
Yeah, well that's because they can't leave it there.
No,
they could. It wouldn't be a good move, but they could.
True.
Yeah, because we all love when things end on cliffhangers. Speaking of things we love, let's get into some social media madness.
Oh man, the connection's really bad.
What?
You poor thing must be going through like a tunnel during a thunderstorm.
Going through the channel, actually. I'm driving under the English Channel at the moment, so I might lose you guys.
So we had talked about last week, of course, we reviewed the classic Blade Trinity, and we had pondered, is it the worst Marvel movie ever made? And TV's Travis responded with, worse than Man-Thing? ?
Man-Thing?
I forgot Man-Thing was a thing.
Yeah.
But was it like, I mean, if we're counting everything.
Man-Thing, I mean, that's like an unfair comparison, though, because Man-Thing is like a low-budget, silly movie. Like, Man-Thing wasn't supposed to be good. Like, they tried to make Blade Trinity good.
In
or cool, anyway. They more tried to make it cool.
It was in 2005 it was created. Huh.
The Gorilla Brain podcast responded by saying, Man-Thing is Citizen Kane by comparison.
Ooh.
I've never seen the Man-Thing movie, so I can't speak to that. Have either of you ever seen the Man? I forgot there was a Man-Thing movie.
I've never seen
two.
Sat down and watched it.
But it's a Sci-Fi Channel special in 2005.
Oh,
so it was probably right between, was it Ice Spiders and Super Gator versus Mega Python or something,
Travis then said, I am no fan of Blade Trinity, but it at least has some redeeming qualities. I can't say the same thing for Man-Thing. To which Ray said, it had a huge redeeming quality. It ended.
Ooh.
That's a nice Ray line. I like that one. Maybe we should watch Man-Thing.
Uh-oh.
What?
I'm curious.
Well, we did watch a good one, so it is time to watch a bad one, I guess, if you want to go the whole yin-yang thing.
I mean, I wonder if it's as bad. I mean, like, the Swamp Thing movies aren't great, but I wonder if it's, like, comparable.
I don't know.
Wes Craven made the first Swamp Thing. True story.
We'll have to think about it.
It's so bad you won't even just say yes. You have to think about it. Okay.
Uh-huh. Moving on, we had said that Misha Collins had been cast as Harvey Dent in the Gotham Knights series, the upcoming Gotham Knights series, to which the Pop Prism Power podcast replied, "I'm okay with this." So I'm assuming the girls over there are fans of Misha Collins.
He's a handsome man. Okay.
I'm still not going to watch the show, but Gotham without Batman just seems like a bad idea.
It was when they did it the first time. Gotham was bad.
They just didn't learn, so they have to try and lose money again or something. Although I don't even know if that show lost money. Like, it went on for so long. It really surprised me.
Let's see if this show, after the later news on this topic, let's see if that really happened.
We also talked about the co-creator of American Chavez decided that not to take the offer Marvel gave, as saying it was an insult of an offer. We had asked if this helped creators or not, and then Smash Trivia said, "What I never knew, the creators of a bunch of my favorite cartoons growing up created a Marvel character. It's so cool." Obviously, they went down the well of looking up. I can't think of his name. Joe Casey, and yes, he created a lot of cartoons from the 90s. So, which we did talk about that last week. So. And then, okay, moving on, we had
his name must be mentioned all over Toy Galaxy.
Yes,
I think I swear that name sounds familiar, and I've been watching a lot of Toy Galaxy lately. So
sorry, we had to let JD back in. Apparently, he lost connection again because he's in the channel.
I got Banished.
You got Banished?
Banished, they said. From Zoom kicked me out. I don't know why. I've always liked that. That's my favorite Shakespeare word. That's not banish, it's banished. That's what Franco Zeffirelli told me in his wonderful version of Romeo and Juliet from, I believe, 1968.
Forsooth he did.
Forsooth, yeah.
Where did we lose you?
We lost him at Social Media Madness.
Yeah, Social Media Madness is the problem.
Anyway, yes. All right. So moving on, we got a couple more here. We also talked about Marvel finally saying that Daredevil is part of the MCU, the Daredevil from Netflix.
Yeah, we know.
To which the Ocho Dorle Parlay Hour podcast replied, "It is. Then all the other shows they added into Disney Plus is as well." They've got a point. Like, they were all connected. So if they're all connected and Daredevil's officially part of the MCU, they are all part of the MCU.
If one is, by definition, they all have to be.
Right. So
not necessarily, but we still hope that they will quite vigorously revamp Iron Fist's backstory and history.
Well, Mandarin, they redid the Mandarin.
Yeah, but we'll see.
Well, I mean, I don't know. And then the last bit of thing, and it's a shame you're on your iPhone because you can't see this. We had a fan of the show.
Paint me a picture, Dave. Tell me, describe it in thorough words and phrases.
So, Pixel Fun, who I believe is a fan of the show, took our logo and redid it. And it's one of those where, like, there's a bunch of images make up the image, and they used images from the Star Wars trailers to recreate our logo.
That sounds awesome.
Yes, it is. I'm going to probably update our logos on social media to use this image going forward. So a big shout out to Pixel Fun. They're at P Pixel Fun on the Twitters. So I recommend people follow them and check out their artwork. And
that was really pixel cool of you.
It's called a photo mosaic, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what it's called, John?
Technical.
It's called kind.
It is. It's really neat too. And if you scroll in really, really close, you can see Obi-Wan saying hello there.
Yes, really close. Just keep going in, you'll eventually see it. It's like the Star Wars Inception of superhero speak. So there you go. All right. So that is all the social media madness, guys.
Awesome.
Yay. And there was much celebrating. But for those listening, if you want to know how you can be part of social media madness and follow us on social media, here's our good friend D Square to tell you more.
Enjoying the show? Want to be part of social media madness? Make sure you are following superheroespeak.com, where you can find all of the show's social media links at the top of the page. While you're there, You can check out old episodes of the podcast as well as some other great content. Check the site often because we are posting some great comic reviews as well as comic book and movie news content every day. Make sure and follow us on Twitter at Superhero Speak. And while you're there, check out the rest of the Geek World All-Stars Podcast Network. You can follow them at stars_geek. The Geek World All-Star Podcast Network include great programs such as the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Cult 45, So Wizard, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, and of course, Superhero Speak. Search for hashtag GWAllstars. You will not be disappointed. Now it's back to Dave and the boys on Superhero Speak.
All right. Thanks for that, Don. And don't forget to check out the Omega Level Nerd podcast, available on YouTube and wherever podcasts are available. And now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with the news.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right, we are back, and we were going to start with the big news that just came out today before recording, and we got our first look at Thor Love and Thunder. So I'm curious what you guys thought of the trailer.
I was going to let you go first. That mouthful of burger.
I saw your mic go live, so I thought maybe
I was afraid Dave was going to call on me, and I had to be ready. But if you want to go first, John, I invite you.
Oh, sure. No, go ahead. Burger, it's going in a different direction than I thought. But then again, we wouldn't have expected it to follow the same storyline of, female Thor in the comics. So I don't know. It's going to be different because almost every movie is based on real conflict and fights and chase scenes and whatever. And action, and this they're going to try to do a story around somebody's search for himself. Granted, it's Thor, so heads will be bashed, but it's a different kind of story, and I'm hoping that they have the writing to support it, because they have to make it interesting instead of just whiny Thor. We've already had Big Lebowski Thor, so now I'm hoping this isn't whiny Thor. This is more like, I don't know. I don't want to see more action, but I mean, I'd welcome a different story like this. I just hope that the writing supports it.
Okay.
I don't think that's what we're getting at all.
Yeah.
Because Christian Bale's God Butcher was not seen in this.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think. I think they didn't show you anything. This is basically Act 1, right? Because there is no story here. That's not how these movies were made. So I just think they played their cards close to the vest with this trailer in particular.
Well, that'd
right?
be nice.
It's almost more of a teaser, because there's going to be conflict, there's drama, right? Well, how does Natalie Portman's character, how does Jane Foster get back involved in this? What is Gore the God Butcher doing? Which I know he's butchering gods. I think we saw Zeus in this one. So I think this is the call to action. This is just going to put us in the frame of mind of where Thor is at the beginning of the movie. Because there's no way that this is.
If Gore the God Butcher is loose, I wonder if the last episode of Moon Knight we get to see him.
It's possible,
because you got a bunch of gods there, and if I don't know, it could be cool.
I just think they're not gonna. I just think they're playing things close to the vest. Right? They didn't have to reveal anything. So Thor 4, here's Guns N' Roses. Everyone likes Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
and they kind of got out, right? This is, which I like, by the way, because every trailer now, and not even now, it's like 30 years, has told you the movie going in. So you had all the beats of the story basically filled in before you got there. This movie, much like No Way Home, right? Because we didn't know anything about No Way Home, really.
True.
Until we got there. And they're not, I think they're just keeping it close because they don't have to, right? They don't even have to do trailers to advertise. They just have to say movie, money, and we're going.
Yeah. I was just left wondering at the end of the trailer, is that the MCU Jane Foster, or is that a alternate version?
Don't know. I would assume it is Jane, our Jane Foster we know and love, because you want those connections, right? Her and Thor have history. And if it's a different character, you don't have that history, right? So you're shooting yourself in the foot, dramatically speaking, if it's a different version of Jane Foster. And I hope we don't keep going to the multiverse well too often, because it's going to start getting played out a bit. You know, I hope this is the real Jane, or our Jane Foster, I should say.
Yeah, but then it's like, and again, you have to see the movie to find out, like, how did she get the power? Because Thor's gone. I mean, not Thor. Odin's gone in this universe. So, you know, who else could have given her the power?
It's going to be interesting, because this is very, very, very much like how Ragnarok was in a lot of ways just an interpretation, like an adaptation of Planet Hulk, right? With Thor, this is very much going to be that God Butcher story, but it's very different because it's taking, like, they're taking panels out of the comic trailer, which is cool. But they're going to do something different. They have to do something different with it, because we're in a different place in the MCU than they were in the 616. So they're going to adapt the story and make changes. I don't know what those changes are going to be. It's very intriguing. I don't know.
No, I agree. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, because you're right. You don't know anything from the trailer, and I kind of the setup makes me feel like we've seen this Thor before. You know, this like, oh, I'm questioning everything, and you know, I'm going to walk away from being a superhero. It's like he did that in Endgame. You know,
but at the same time, like, the first shot is you see Thor running in through various stages of his life. Right, I think that's on purpose. Yeah. Like, did you notice he's wearing when he was doing the we call them battle rope workouts? He was doing it with, like, these gigantic chains. He was dressed like Vincent D'Onofrio in Adventures of Babysitter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he was dressed like that version of Thor, which I thought was a great nod.
And besides, in Endgame, he was like, he was hurting. And by the end of Endgame, when they finally destroyed Thanos, he like, that was his healing, right? So now it's time for him to go on and, like, finish that journey. So this would be the last part of that journey.
Yeah, I agree with John. I think this is the key. This is the healing journey, right? This is him finding his place in this universe, which is interesting too, because, like, much like the Jason era Thor, the universe has replaced him. So what is Thor in a world that already has Thor?
I don't know.
Really safe, you know, 2 Thors. That's got.
Well, I mean, that was the question in what was it, Unworthy Thor, when they took his powers away, and then it was Jane Foster given the powers, but then we find out she was given the powers to save her life, and blah blah. But
do you think they'll do the same beat again? That's a pretty good character beat. I don't know
either, because it's like, it works in the comics because, again, Odin gives her the power to save her, but it's like, does it make sense in the MCU, especially because we haven't seen her in a bunch of movies either, because
they broke up?
Well, to be fair, the comics, I think she was out of the comics for quite some time before they turned her into Thor, I believe.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. It's intriguing. I want to know more about New Asgard. I don't know where that is.
Still on Earth, right?
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Wasn't it?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was on Earth.
He left Valkyrie in charge. Yeah, it was on Earth. It was like in Ireland or something.
I forgot about that. I still want to know more about it.
And he went off with the Guardians to find himself.
Yep.
I do remember that. It doesn't seem like the Guardians are going to be in that much of the movie, which I think is okay, because Gunn's back and doing Gunn stuff. So
right.
It kind of came out weird, but yeah, it should be interesting.
Yes, take a look at the people that love you the most. Not us. Yeah. Because that's the other thing I was trying to figure out was, if you pause Jane catching the hammer.
Yep.
There's Mjolnir. There's like blue lines going through it. So is that a restored Mjolnir from it being destroyed?
That was the vibe. That was the vibe I got. I bet, like, maybe our friend Ulick repaired the thing.
Well, it's not just blue lines. Like, it looks like it's like somebody grabbed some super glue and put it together.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think it's been repaired, like they said, restored. Like, maybe our friend Ulick the Troll did rebuild it, or somebody else rebuilt it. So it's good. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff that, again, from the comics that they can adapt and do something different with. So
anything to get what? Sorry, go ahead.
I said it should be cool, and then I burped.
Oh, yeah. It should anything to get Peter Dinklage in for a cameo at least, because at the end of Endgame they had the hammer from but that's right, Cap brought it back, the hammer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that was Thor pulled the hammer from a different timeline.
Right. So Cap brought it back along with the Infinity Stones at the end.
It was returned to where it belongs. So this is the destroyed hammer. When was the hammer destroyed? Was it in Infinity War?
No, it was just, and no, it was
no, Ragnarok. It was destroyed.
Ragnarok. Yeah.
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 It was
Hela
Ragnarok.
destroyed
It was destroyed. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Hela just like grabbed it and said no and yeeted it.
Hey, do you guys realize this is the first Marvel series to get a 4? Like a part 4?
Pretty much.
Well, I guess you can count Endgame as Avengers 4. I don't know. I guess never mind. Maybe I'm wrong. Right? Because Endgame.
They're all starting to meld together because there's so many superheroes now that you're always going to get a few in each one. So like, sure, this counts as 4 for him, but like 2.5 for the Guardians of the Galaxy, and whoever else shows up. It's like,
how many movies was Tony Stark Iron Man in?
3. Well, total? Gosh. Well, 3 Iron Mans, 4 Avengers, 2 Spider-Mans.
Spider-Mans.
Yeah,
Several.
so yeah,
I can't. I don't know, man. It's getting too hard. It's getting too hard to keep score of these Marvel.
You know what's not hard to keep score of?
What?
How many times DC is going to regroup? Oh wait, that is getting hard to keep score.
Reboot or regroup? I mean, we're talking about is this because I got all the notes in front of me. Right? Is this the Warner disaster going on right now?
Yeah. So Warner.
Is it a disaster though? Is it, or
Warner
is this the start of maybe them getting their shit together?
They're exploring overhauling DC Entertainment. So, so if you read the article, one of the things they talk about in the article is assigning an overhead czar to all the DC movies, like they did over at Disney with Kevin Feige in the Marvel movies.
Well, under Kevin Sugihara, with this, we're talking 3 CEOs ago now. They had that guy. It was Jeff Johns.
Right.
They fired that guy.
Yeah.
Yes. And they're talking about this Emma Watts being, they offered the position to her. I think it said in the article she turned it down. But the thing is, they picked her because she was like one of the top CEOs at Fox before it got bought by Marvel, and like she's respected in the film industry. But it's like part of the reason Kevin Feige was picked is not only is he good at making movies, he loves the Marvel properties.
Yeah,
like,
they need
he's a fan.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's like when they put Diane Nelson in charge of that too a few years ago. Like she was in charge of DC overall, and they put her there because she had headlined she had headed up the Harry Potter division, right? And they thought it was the same kind of thing, and that didn't work. Like that led DC moving all the way out to California and all kinds of, and nothing. It's been, God, they came under one roof and it got even more. Like it's been, I don't know if you guys saw this, but the new dude, the guy at Warner Discovery, whatever they're going to call this thing, said they need to trim $3 billion from the budget.
Yes.
Or conversely, they need to get DC shit together and make 3 movies.
Well, it's not it's Warner. I mean, like it's not just DC. It's like, oh, DC, but it comes from Warner, right? Like think about how much money that Warner has wasted on movies that never get made, right?
True.
Like hundreds of millions of dollars on properties in development. Or like yes, okay, the Snyder Cut was fun for us to do a podcast with for a day, right? Why did they do that?
We missed that last part. Say that again.
Oh, sorry. I said the Snyder Cut was fun for us to do a podcast on in retrospect. But like, why did they do that? What money was generated? Like it became part of HBO Max, but like the whole HBO Max thing has been awful for Warner. Like it's been a disaster. Like every move they've made has been like not good. Like this is why people like how can Discovery be in control of this merger? Because Warner is in trouble, man. To the point where AT&T is like, we don't want you to.
Right.
Like
no, exactly.
It's rough.
And the thing is, you just said, yeah, they're looking to get $3 billion, and I saw someone floating the idea again of them completely stopping publishing and just farming out the IPs to get published by other people again. And it's just like,
I don't know if that's ever going to happen because the comics is such a small. Like if you're looking to trim $2 billion or $3 billion, what's the comics division going to take? Like cost nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It's the film. Like I've seen people with wrestling go, AEW is going to get canceled. It's like that's chump change compared to what they spent. Like this Harry Potter movie, not doing good.
Yeah, it got diminishing returns. So on that, it's I don't know. I mean, like I said though, like if they trip and fall on their face and by accident pick somebody who loves the DC properties and has read comics when they were a kid and has the ability to do what Feige's doing, they could easily close that gap in like 3, 4, 5 years. 4 or 5 years. They would easily close that gap and then surpass it.
I feel like anything that isn't in the can, that's ideas that are floating out there, I think they're on the chopping block at this point.
I agree. I mean, like, there's a reason why we haven't announced the Batman movie, right? Like, in that, I read someone say that movie, that Warner's considering it a failure because it didn't make $1 billion. I don't know if I can agree with that.
No.
You know, especially because the budget was smaller than a typical movie, you know?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense because, yeah, again, you're right. It was a much smaller budget, and it made $750 million, I think, the last I checked.
Yeah, which is good. But again, this is from Twitter. That everybody has a voice. Nobody deserves that voice.
Yeah,
right.
Well, Twitter's Twitter. What are you going to do?
Twitter, exactly. But I mean, I'm just wondering, like, if they're going to trim all this, but they got to trim something.
Okay,
Where does
so
it come from?
Real quick, it was between 185 and 200 million. So it's one of those where like the exact number wasn't released, but yeah, 751.1 million was box office. So that is not a failure.
Yeah.
So
what did it cost? It didn't cost that to make it. So I mean, you know,
what was the budget?
Oh, you didn't hear me? 185 to 200. So
200 million.
Yeah.
And they made 751 million off of it. Okay.
Right.
So
even if you double 200 million for marketing, which I don't even think they spent that much on it, 400
I don't think
million.
it's so much out of it all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's still making over 300 million.
And it's not. It hasn't been released on DVD and Blu-ray yet, so that'll make up some.
It's coming to Max. I think it's already there. I think it's already on Max.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, it was fast. I don't know. I think that DC is like, of all the things going on at Marvel right now, I think Mr. Christopher Nolan might need to think twice about what he wants to do next. You know, because they give him a lot of money to make movies, and I'm not sure if they're making as much as they used to. Right.
Right.
I don't know. I think that DC Comics will be reorganized, but I think it's safe.
Probably. Because actually, wasn't that something we talked about before one of the last reshuffles? Like, they cut people, but then they, like, they put a bunch of people in, like, management positions. And had co-CEOs and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, I gotta think.
They've changed, like, I think I've been on the show 4 years. I think they've reshuffled DC Comics 3 times. So they're probably doing it again. They're going to consolidate. The people are going to save money. They're probably not going to hire a lot of superstars. They're probably going to put a lot of Batman books out because they'll sell. And they're probably not going to have as many superstar artists and stuff like that. But they're still going to bring comics. Like, it's not like it's weird. They're moving in a spot where they're doing more digital and more stuff for the kids market. I don't know where they are. I don't know where DC's at with all that stuff. Those publishing plans could go out the window now. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yep. We'll have to see.
Well, so we talk about this, and then our next story.
I was going to say
is like the next 2 stories.
I don't know if this is safe, but apparently Riverdale's KJ Apa and 1883's Isabel
Appa.
May.
Yeah.
What?
KJ Appa, I guess. Or is it Appa?
Okay. Appa and 1883's Isabel May have been cast as the Wonder Twins for HBO Max. So
yeah, do we need this? Like, if David Zaslav, I forget his last name. Someone would be. If I'm him, I'm like, do we need this?
You need a solid base of a Batman, a Superman, and a Wonder Woman set of properties first, and then maybe 1 or 2 other farther out. You've already got Aquaman. You could keep that. You could keep the latest, the Batman, but and then you bring that into a Justice League, and then you start branching out into the weird characters like that.
We're too late with that, right? We have a Wonder Woman movie, like Wonder Woman 84. Say it wasn't great, but you still have a good Wonder Woman franchise, right? Mm-hmm. We're still there. You have a Shazam movie that's going to come out at the you got a Shazam and a Black Adam movie that are both coming out at the end of the year.
Right.
So I mean, we're still kind of in the Snyderverse of one foot, but now we have Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. We have Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, I still think the idea that it was just going to be was just do movies. It doesn't matter, no continuity. But I was like, do we need the Wonder Twins movie or TV series? Like, who cares?
No.
I think, in all honesty, it was a move to appeal to Gen Xers who grew up watching Super Friends.
I'm sorry. I'm that guy, and I have why would you need the Wonder Twins? They were a joke on the Super Friends show, and the Super Friends show itself was kind of a joke to begin with. You know, I mean, it was a product of its. I know it was a product of its time, and it was Hanna-Barbera, and it introduced a lot of people to the Super Friends, to DC stuff, but the writing in that was horrible. Those two characters replaced a pair of characters and a dog that were just plain old humans hanging out at the Hall of Justice for no reason. Like
Marvin and Wendy,
right. And and it's like, but why would you need these two? Like, they were just a gimmick. They were literally a gimmick.
They were a gimmick to appeal to younger viewers at the time. That's why they were created. And
because there was some reason there was this idea in the comics that they want these cartoon shows that kids needed to see someone like them. When in reality, all we wanted to see was the superheroes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why Robin exists. That's why Aqualad exists.
Kid Flash.
All the sidekicks. Yep. Kid Flash.
Speedy.
But those got good after a while, after real writers took them over and gave them sympathetic, good stories. But Xana and Jaina have always been just a gimmick. Like, just
it's not like they have an extensive background in the comics either.
Yeah.
They did bring them in at one point, but yeah, they're not like a huge draw in the comics. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. You mentioned Aquaman, John. I'm not even so sure that's going to come out, the next Aquaman movie.
That'd be fun.
Because I don't know if you've heard that the trial with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp is going on right now.
Criminy.
And there's a lot of bad stuff about Amber Heard coming out from that trial. And
well, we don't even know if what happens with Ezra. Was it Ezra
Miller?
Ezra Miller, yeah. Like,
oh, I forgot to include that one. And then the guy who played the Joker got arrested for drunkenly in the new.
Joaquin Phoenix?
No.
Oh, the new guy.
The new guy.
Wow.
Over the weekend. Apparently, you work for DC. You start having troubles.
They're just not picking good people.
Yeah.
Hey, Barry Coat. Was it Keegan?
Keegan. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, if you looked at a picture of Mara and you casted Amber Heard, I mean, I went, oh yeah, okay, like that makes sense, on paper. But yeah.
In fact, I even saw a rumor. This is a rumor. That's why I didn't include it. That they want to go back and reshoot all of her stuff to get her out, recast her, and reshoot all her stuff.
Okay, I believe you on this. This is how you lose. This is how you get a new CEO. It says we need to cut $3 billion from our budget. You don't reshoot movies that have been out.
Yeah.
No.
It was what it was.
The new Aquaman movie that they're working on.
Well, I mean, like that's not how you save $3 billion.
No.
I mean, maybe you. I mean, this is how this company gets in trouble. Like I said, was Justice League. They remade Justice League and then put it on a streaming service where they couldn't possibly make their money back. Like, dumb.
Yeah, they thought it was going to attract people to the service. So let's see. What about other titles that are in trouble? Red Sonja.
Well, that was just asking for it.
Okay, this one's interesting, and I want to get your guys' take on this. So, the Red Sonja director sues to expedite visa for film shoots in Europe. So, MJ Bassett, who is the director of Red Sonja, she's suing the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, saying they're delaying the processing. Oh, shoot. We lost JD again. Hold on.
Yep.
Let's see. Is he back?
Yeah, my connection got really bad and choppy, so I had to leave and come back.
All right. So I don't know how much you heard, but MJ Bassett, who is directing the Red Sonja movie, is suing the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services, saying they're delaying processing the immigration case, jeopardizing plans to shoot the
film in Bulgaria and Greece.
Film in Bulgaria and Greece.
Yeah, that's because they don't want to see another Red Sonja too. Well, unless it's by Uwe Boll, right? Because
I can't even express how much I don't care about a Red Sonja movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my issue with this is like, so because I mean, I'm reading the article. She isn't a U.S. citizen, but she lives in the United States, so she needs her visa extended so she can go to Europe and film.
Wouldn't it be easier to hire a new director?
Exactly. Like that was my first thing, and the other thing is she knew before she accepted the job, because this is the second director for the movie, by the way. And she knew before she accepted the job if her visa was going to allow her to go there or not. And she's
the best thing. Sorry, go ahead, Dave.
And she's saying they've got to film there, and that the U.S. immigration is causing this problem. It's like, no, you should have made sure that you could do it before you accepted the job, in my opinion. So
Warner's sitting there going, "Hey, this isn't us."
But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just one of those things we talk about sometimes on the show, and it's like about the elitism among some people in Hollywood, thinking like, oh well, I can just sue and get it expedited. Where it's like, no, like you and I couldn't sue to get our visas extended to go over to Europe to film.
Yeah, they tear them up and throw it in the garbage. That'd be like the end of it.
So I basically saying, I think the universe is saying they don't want another Red Sonja movie made.
Well, all right. So speaking of movies that, I see. This is another DC issue because so they're in the hole, and the CW verse is dying.
Yes.
Like even I don't keep up with it anymore. Like
it's bad.
For the first 4 years, I watched everything, every episode in order. And then the writing started to get bad on a few. And then Supergirl started getting really weird. And the Flash series, like it became unbearable to watch somebody who could make time stand still, constantly get shot, hit over the head. It's like, I'm like, Grant Gustin is a treasure. He should play the Flash in the movies, but they need good writers to challenge the Flash. Like you would have to need a good writer to challenge Superman. You cannot have somebody who can move near the speed of light getting shot by arrows and bullets.
He can move fast enough to go back in time.
Yeah. It's not like being surprised would catch him either, right? If he's constantly thinking in femtoseconds,
we kind of buried the lead here. So they're saying they're going to end the Flash in a shortened season 9, so they can wrap up the series. And this is coming off the heels of Jesse Martin leaving the show because he's going to go star in another series. So he's leaving at the end of this season, which is season 8.
Which God bless him, because after doing so long on Law and Order and then deciding to do like a sci-fi show like this, a superhero show, it was nice that he was in there. He like gave it some heft while he was in the show.
Right. But I mean, that's another thing. 8 seasons is a long time for a TV show.
Yeah. Especially one that's dying. What'd you say, JD?
I said any TV show is a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. The shows that last a long time, it's very rare, like people don't realize a lot of shows die after 1 or 2 seasons, so
especially if they're on Fox. But
we lost JD again.
He's switching to his other. He's switching to his other thing.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no. So it's like 8 seasons, 9. But I'm trying to think, when did I drop off? I think it was after the last. What was it? The last big Crisis crossover with the old Superman and
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Like, that's kind of like I dropped off after that because
I think a lot of people dropped off after that. Even I tried, and then the whole Batwoman thing fell apart with Ruby Rose leaving, and it would have been okay if they had made an attempt, but the writing was so bad after that, and the reason for replacing her with some like, hey, I found a bat suit, I'm gonna be Batwoman. No,
like at that point, just recast her. Like, just find another actress to just say this is Ruby Rose, and like don't even explain why she looks different.
Or,
You know?
or do the daytime soap opera thing where, oh, I got plastic surgery or whatever, which they eventually did. But why is the one with no real training and nothing else, no real skills, being Batwoman? So I don't know.
They made Green Lantern Spectre,
Which was okay because he was out.
right. No, yeah, Stephen
We're-
Amell was out at that point. Arrow
JD
was done.
is back. This is good. JD, we're talking about the death of the CW verse.
Yes,
So-
I'm home now. I'm at my I'm on my real computer and stuff.
Yes, you sound good.
Thank you. About time. Yeah, those shows suck, man.
Yeah, I mean,
because like we only have Flash and Legends at this point. The Superman Lois show doesn't really take place in the CW. It's its own thing, even though they launched it in the CW, but like it feels it's totally disconnected. They don't cross over at all.
No, it's probably for that show's benefit too, because I don't know, like it's hard to keep it's hard to keep television shows going for a long time, let alone an extended universe. And eventually, like the kind of writers, I mean, it's not like you're getting the best of the best.
No,
You know.
and they're CW writers to boot, right?
And
So
they're doing CW stuff,
Right.
So you're not getting grittiness.
No.
Yeah, you're getting everything is driven by,
and I think
by made up or contrived interpersonal crap.
And I think
You
it's
know?
the only reason that the show that it kind of works is Legends of Tomorrow
Because they don't care.
Yeah, it's Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's characters no one really cares that much about. It's
One of them was a freaking
team-
puppet for a while. I mean, like
it's a team it's a team show so they can have a bunch of heroes that interact with each other instead of one hero who's got this like a whole team behind them for some weird reason.
But
Yeah,
even
so-
the writing on that got weird. Like they just took Rory and moved him off to the side after a while. He was supposed to be like, the muscle and he and keeping things interesting, but they just like pushed him off.
It's because he wants to go back being Dracula. I mean,
Did we ever get Heatwave and Cold being like the rogues on the Flash show? Like
yes,
the actual
for
rogues?
like 2 episodes
yeah.
So
before
that's
they came out with Legends.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like that show robbed us of like a true like rogues, like real rogues storyline from the Flash. Like I get what they were doing, but it just, I don't know, like I kind of resent that show just for like, because you didn't get to use like some of the coolest things about the Flash,
Yeah. And then so it's dying. I think after Flash goes, then Legends will just be canceled after that, and then it'll be done. So it was cool when it started and everyone was happy, and it fell off the edge of the earth.
They can be commended for what they got. Like talk about like what, at least 4 solid years of like, I don't know, at the height, maybe 6 shows that all were in the same universe. And then the Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover where they just they were pulling people like Marvel does in the multiverse. Like, and they made it work so well. I mean, it's funny. DC was able to do that on the TV shows where it's much harder to do. They can't do anything close to that in the movie theaters because they screwed up so much. It's always that, right? Marvel does great movies, but they shit the bed when they try to do the animated shows. DC's animated shows are like bellwethers, but their movies suck.
Yeah. Well, moving on. Speaking of things that are going to probably suck,
We don't know that yet.
We talked about the Quantum Leap reboot, right? And I saw a video today on, it was like from some kind of like entertainment magazine thing, but I couldn't find 2 articles that linked it. I guess I should have sent the video. I couldn't find a single article that like really talked about this, but essentially the Quantum Leap reboot was really brought forward by Scott Bakula, but then when it came time to do casting, Scott Bakula said he wanted to be involved, and NBC said no thanks, or Peacock said no thanks.
It's weird.
So he is not involved with the show at all at this point.
That is just as bad as like the new live action series for was it the Airbender, and then getting rid of the 2 creators. It's like
Now he'll be he's producing and starring in a show called Unbroken that's going to be on Peacock, but he's not. It seems like they threw him that instead of letting him be involved with Quantum Leap. So
They probably want a clean break, and I think it's kind of a mistake, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't know.
That show is based on heart, and he was the heart of it. You need at least some time to transfer those feelings from him to the new guy. It's like
the whole thing with stuff like that is it's based on nostalgia and trying to bring people who love the original show in, and the whole fact that the show never ended on didn't resolve any
it
way
pissed
of him
everybody
getting
off.
home.
Let's be honest. There are a lot of people that are pissed off about it.
Like, exactly. And if you know the actor's out there and wants to be a part of it, to me that seems like a no-brainer. So yeah, I don't get it.
These executives don't really think a lot, right? They went, what new and cool, and Quantum Leap, which was never new or cool.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have faith in it now.
Just how much coke are these guys? Like,
Enough.
Oh my God.
It's Hollywood. Enough.
Yeah. I'm curious what our audience thinks. Will you watch a Quantum Leap reboot that does not involve Scott Bakula? So let us know in the comments below. And then finally, this is not an article. This is an interview I'm going to tack on here. Actually, you know what? Before that, we're going to take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
All right. Of course, we all know that I was at the Fan Expo Philadelphia last weekend, and I got a bunch of interviews. We gave our first one last week, Chris Campana, and this week I'm giving us Danny Schlitz. I was walking around, and for those who know me or may not know this about me, I love Shakespeare and I love Marvel. And there was this book. It was called Shakespeare's Complete Works of Marvel. And basically they took a bunch of the movies like Avengers 1 and 2, and I forget what the other two movies are in there, and wrote them as if they were Shakespearean plays. And Danny Schlitz is the artist who did there's a bunch of drawings throughout the book as well. He's the artist who did all the drawings on that. And of course I saw the book and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I ended up buying it, but I was talking to him about it for a little bit. And so he agreed to let me record him. So here is my interview with Dan.
All right, boys and girls, we are here with Danny Schlitz, artist, and I had to stop at his booth because he has a book that combines two of my favorite things, William Shakespeare and the Avengers. So I need to ask, where'd the genesis of this idea come from?
Well, honestly, the author Ian Dosher, he created the William Shakespeare Star Wars books that have been around for quite a while. But then years later, I got contacted by Quirk Books, Philly publisher, to do the illustrations for the books. And so that happened 2 years ago, kind of beginning of the pandemic. So it's kind of nice. It gave me something to work on during all those, being at home all the time. So I kind of just worked on that for about a year off and on. Yeah.
Cool. And just so people know that, like, this is officially licensed. It's not
correct.
You're not just doing this on your own. I'm kind of curious, like, when you go to Marvel or Disney to like, here's our idea. Can we do this? Like, do they love it or do they have to think about it for a long time?
Now, honestly, I'm not totally sure. I mean, because I was more contacted by Quirk Books. But I've done some other Marvel stuff, but it's usually they are coming to me. But like, one thing is like I had to become like an official licensed Disney artist, whatever that means. But that was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm in some registry now.
Does that mean the paychecks come with a little picture of Mickey Mouse on them?
Oh yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I wish.
All right. So something that I've been asking a lot of people. So this is Philly's first con in 2 years. I was at New York Comic Con in October, which was they were still at limited capacity, and now in Philly Week they've fully lifted all the restrictions. No more masks, no more vaccine mandates. So how do you feel like things are going now that, like, are we back or do you think we're slow still?
I mean, it feels pretty full today. I mean, people are coming out. I mean, obviously, I'm wearing a mask most of the day, but just, because I'm traveling from West Coast. But I was at Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle late last year, and there it was packed. It was super, super packed. And it seems pretty packed here, too. So I think feels like we're back. I mean, it feels like we're getting there. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, no, and it's funny, too. And I will point that out, like, you can tell when you're at a con, people are coming from all around the country.
Yes.
And different areas still have restrictions, and some areas don't. And I agree. Whatever your comfort level is, you know, like if you're not comfortable, wear a mask. I'm all for that.
Right.
So, like, do you feel uncomfortable at all? Like,
I mean, I don't feel uncomfortable. I know, obviously, it's just life these days, right? It's a little risky, but honestly, I'm just getting out. I kind of just try being smart and careful, but I'll take the mask off like I am right now. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. Yeah, not too worried. And a lot of people, are vaxxed up, and I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah.
So, you kind of alluded to this. One of the things I also like asking people right now is the pandemic hit, and I know a lot of people get a lot of the revenue from these cons, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have cons for a long time.
Yeah.
So what did you do, A, to keep busy during the pandemic, and B, to keep your spirits up through it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, just going, I live near Seattle, so I go up and work at a place where I do a lot of artwork. And but then, being home, I just had a lot more time to draw and really try some new things. I really just tried to take advantage of the time being home. And so I just took my iPad, and I just took it everywhere I went, and I would just draw and draw and draw. And I felt like it really kind of paid off, just having more focused time, not a lot of interruptions.
Right.
And that just made a huge difference in my overall progress as an artist.
Cool. And I also want to back to the book real quick. This is based on the MCU, the movie versions of the characters. So something I always like to ask artists too: when you're drawing a real person as opposed to a comic person, right? Because you can draw Peter Parker 100 different ways as long as he's got a few characteristics people recognize it as Peter Parker. But when you're drawing Tom Hiddleston, it's got to look like Tom Hiddleston, or people complain. Like, did you find it difficult to make sure everything looked the way it should?
I mean, here's the thing, right? Is they told me, Danny, don't make this look exactly like them because they have to pay that licensing fee. And I mean, when you're doing all the Avengers, I mean, it's got to be pretty expensive. So I would try to draw as close as I could to the actors, but just change them a little bit. And oftentimes it's around the eyes, and just some little features like that. I mean, because the hardest stuff is to really make it look like them. So if you just kind of dial it down 10%, it's like, they're no agent is calling saying, "Hey, wait a minute, that's Chris Evans," I mean, so it wasn't too hard,
Yeah, well, and it's funny too because, I've been doing this for a long time. I've met a lot of artists. I've met a lot of actors too, and it's like they sign these contracts where their likeness associated with that character belongs to Marvel or Disney.
Yeah.
So it's not the actor's agent that'd be calling you. It's Disney that'd be calling you saying, "Hey, this looks a little too much like Chris Evans." So
there were a couple times I thought this looks way too close, but Disney signed off on it every time. So I was like,
good.
okay, all right, trust you guys. You're the ones sign it off.
So I had a question and it went right out of my head. Okay, so something I do like. What kind of advice do you give to artists who are starting out?
Oh yeah. Honestly, my advice is just be relentless. Just keep going and going, and be open to feedback. I mean, that's the hardest thing. Even for me right now, when I'm doing something like, say, a movie poster, I still share with other art friends, build that community of other artists that are, most of them, online and not where I live. I don't have like a ton of artists right around me, but just through Instagram and places like that, I just kind of join that community of artists and I ask questions, I'll ask people who are really good at like likeness for like actors and characters and say, hey, what do you think? And they'll give me feedback. And I still do that like all the time. And so I'm always, I think for starting out, or not even starting out, but just trying to be an artist and trying to kind of get noticed is really, you don't do it as an island, by yourself.
Right.
Go out there, meet other artists, people who appreciate art and the stuff you're into, and just join that community and just contribute, and that's how you'll grow. And again, accept feedback even when it hurts. Just take it and learn from it.
Yes.
I mean, you're always be learning.
Cool. And related to that, the question we normally like to end on is, how do you measure success?
Oh my gosh, success. That is tough, right? I guess I would say measuring success is if you're enjoying it, if you're enjoying what you're making, and hopefully somebody buys something you make. But honestly, if you're still enjoying it, regardless of if people are buying your art or not buying it, if you're enjoying it, make that that I would call that success. Yes.
Cool.
Definitely.
All right. And then for the people listening, where can they find you online?
Yes, they can find me at DannySchlitz.com. DannySchlitz. And I'm on Instagram. Not much Twitter, but I'm up there. But I kind of monitor that a little bit. But yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Dan. Don't forget to check out Shakespeare's Avengers, available in all the finer bookstores. So that's it for the week. Let's wrap it up. And I'm going to give you guys an option. You can give a recommendation, or what did you learn on the podcast this week? And JD, you can go first.
Oh, I'm giving a recommendation because, as you know, the Wolfstones, not a video podcast, but I'm going to plug the Wolfstone Saga Kickstarter launches Tuesday. So it'll be live for at least 24 hours by the time you listen to it. So get it, 3 books plus access to literally hundreds more. So many cool bonus features. The best thing I've ever written. Jump on board.
Awesome.
Did you learn anything? You didn't learn shit?
No, I didn't learn nothing.
Okay. John?
Like I keep saying, the spring season of anime is out. And one of the really, really good ones that seems to have come out is this one called Spy X Family. So it's about a master spy who gets this job to basically infiltrate this guy's daughter's school so he can get close to the guy he's supposed to spy on. And so he's got to put together a family. And the little girl that he adopts just happens to be an escaped experiment who's psychic. And the woman he picks up just happens to be a master assassin. And hilarity ensues. It's really, really good. There's only 2 episodes out so far, and it is freaking amazing. And everybody, it's a 5-star show. It's really hard to satisfy that many people, but a lot of people are watching it. So that would be my recommendation.
All right.
Oh, and JD's book, because I am definitely going to die in that one.
Looking forward to killing you again.
Yes.
Well, I learned that John likes JD to kill him. Oh, wait.
Just
I knew
learned
that
that?
already. I know, I knew that already. I didn't learn that this week. Oh, man. I didn't really learn anything either. But
it's not an educational podcast.
Not an educational podcast. What you need to learn is to go to superheroespeak.com, where you can find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page. And of course, comic book reviews by our good friend D Square. And what will I recommend? That's a good question. I think I'm going to recommend that you go watch X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes.
There's a really
Why
good
would
chance
you do that?
we're going to be talking about that on next week's podcast.
Is that one on Disney? Is that on Disney right now? Disney Plus?
I would imagine. I think all the X-Men movies are on there except Logan.
I haven't searched, so I just asked.
So yeah, because we got to see the origin of Deadpool in the MCU.
The buried alternate version. Yeah.
So on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening. Don't let you keep caught in the door. Have a good week.